They thought you would always be there, like a safe option, an emergency backup. They assumed that no matter how many times they walked away, you'd open the door for them again. But this time the story has changed. Your silence has become the loudest answer for them, and now for the first time, the avoidant will realize what real loss feels like. This isn't just a breakup, it's a price they will keep paying for the rest of their life. For the avoidant, the greatest belief is control. They convince themselves they control the time, they control your loyalty, they control your emotions. Every time they withdrew, the thought that reassured them was simple: she's still there, I just have to decide when I want to come back. And in the beginning you did exactly that. You tolerated their silence, justified their mixed signals, and kept the door open despite their cold distance. Each time you did, it only made them more confident, more convinced that you were their safe option. To them you weren't a person anymore. You were a guarantee, an insurance policy, something that could never be lost. But illusions never last forever, and when they shatter, the sharpest pain always cuts the one who clung to them the hardest. This was the illusion they built their safety on, and it's the very illusion that will now destroy them. Because this is where their real story begins. This is the painful price avoidants pay when they finally lose you. At first, they didn't notice. Your silence seemed harmless, almost casual. They told themselves you were just busy, just distracted, just waiting for them to return like always. That's the story they had trained their mind to believe. That no matter how long they disappeared, you would still be there, holding space for them. But this time was different. This time you weren't playing your usual role in their script. And without you even saying a word, everything began to change. For an avoidant, their safe pattern is distance. They rely on it like oxygen. They push away, they retreat, and then they come back when they feel ready, always expecting the door to still be open. It's a cycle they thought they had mastered, a cycle they believed they controlled. But when you stopped responding, that cycle shattered. At first, they brushed it off. They told themselves you'd come around. You always did. But days turned into weeks, and the silence grew heavier. What once felt like a temporary pause began to feel like a permanent shift. And slowly panic started to creep in. It was like a familiar light, one they never questioned, suddenly burning out. A light they had counted on every single night, gone without warning. At first, they sit in the dark pretending it's fine. But as the hours pass, the reality sets in. This darkness isn't temporary, it's forever. That's when fear begins to whisper. What if she's really gone this time? What if I pushed too far? What if I don't get another chance? This is the moment avoidants never prepare for, the moment when their illusion of control collapses. The very pattern that once made them feel safe now betrays them. The distance they believed protected them has become the weapon that destroys them. And it's here, in this sudden shift, that they start to feel the painful price. Because for the first time, they realize something terrifying: they aren't in control anymore. You are. This silence, your silence, becomes louder than any argument, stronger than any plea, and deep inside, they know it. This is no longer just a pause. This is the beginning of their regret. Every time they chose distance over closeness, every time they avoided a conversation, every time they left your messages unanswered, they thought they were protecting themselves. They thought withdrawal was safety, silence was power, detachment was control. But what they didn't realize was that every single choice was adding up. Like invisible ink on a hidden ledger, each act of avoidance was recorded, each moment of neglect, each wall they built, each cold shoulder, it all became part of a silent debt they were accumulating, a debt they didn't know they owed. At the time, it never felt costly. To them, pulling away seemed easy, even harmless. They told themselves, she'll understand. She always does. She'll wait, she always waits. But debts don't disappear just because you ignore them. They grow in the shadows, gathering interest, waiting for the day the bill comes due. And now, that day has arrived, because now you're gone. And suddenly, all those small acts of distance, The nights they didn't call, the mornings they chose silence, the chances they wasted, they're no longer scattered moments. They've joined together, forming one crushing weight. It hits them slowly at first, like a faint pressure in the chest. But with each passing day, it grows heavier. This is emotional karma, slow, steady, and impossible to escape. They begin to see the truth. Every cold choice was not just a moment lost. It was a brick laid in the wall now separating them from you. And the wall is too high to climb, too thick to break. This is the unbearable price. Not because you're punishing them, but because life is. Avoidants always believed they could outrun closeness, outrun their feelings, outrun you. But you cannot outrun debt. Eventually, it finds you, and when it does, it demands everything. Now they're left standing in the ruins of what they thought was control, staring at the cost of their own choices. And for the first time, they feel it, not just the loss of you, but the weight of everything they never gave. At first, they think your absence will bring them peace. No expectations, no pressure, no conversations that make them uncomfortable. Finally, they imagine, the silence they always craved has arrived. But silence isn't empty. It echoes, and in that echo, you live. It starts small, a song on the radio, the one you used to hum under your breath without realizing. Suddenly, the melody isn't just music. It's a knife twisting gently, reminding them of car rides where you sang every word. Then it's the coffee. They take their usual sip, and instinctively their mind reaches for you, to tell you about the weird dream they had last night. But the chair across from them is empty, and the silence answers instead. A joke comes to mind, the kind they used to text you in the middle of the day, just to see your reaction. Their thumb hovers over the phone, ready to share it with you. Before the reality sinks in, that door is closed, that audience is gone. Every corner of their life becomes haunted by these invisible fingerprints you left behind. The restaurant where you once laughed too loud, the park bench where you shared your fears. Even their own bed carries the phantom weight of where you used to sleep. They thought they erased you by avoiding you, but avoidance doesn't erase, it amplifies. Because now, instead of your actual presence, they're left with a ghost that follows them everywhere. This is the cruel paradox. Your presence could be ignored, but your absence cannot. It clings to them like a shadow in an empty room. The more they try to distract themselves, the louder it grows, like the hollow echo in a vacant hall, bouncing off the walls, reminding them again and again, you are not here, and you will not be coming back. This is the echo of absence. It doesn't let them rest, doesn't let them hide, doesn't let them escape, and it's only the beginning of the painful price avoidants pay when they lose you. They thought losing you meant freedom, that once you were gone, life would return to normal, quiet, simple, easy, but it didn't, because losing you didn't erase you, it immortalized you. Now, your memory is sharper, clearer, louder than your actual presence ever was. They don't just miss you, they live with you, every single day. They walk into their own apartment, and it no longer feels like home. It feels like a museum of everything they destroyed. The couch where you once curled up to watch movies isn't just furniture anymore, it's an exhibit of absence. The kitchen still whispers with the memory of you laughing at their failed attempts to cook. Even their bedroom has turned into sacred ground, haunted by the ghost of your voice, your touch, your warmth. It's everywhere. The songs you love don't fade with time. They play louder in their head, like a cruel soundtrack they can't turn off. Your laughter doesn't soften, it echoes in moments of silence, cutting deeper because they know they'll never hear it again. Even their victories now feel hollow, because the one person who once celebrated them is gone. They try to move forward, but every new experience is contaminated. A movie isn't just a movie, it's a reminder of how you used to give commentary that made them laugh harder than the film itself. A sunset isn't just a sunset, it's a memory of how you found beauty in the smallest things, beauty they can't see anymore without thinking of you. This is the punishment they never expected. They've become prisoners of their own memory. living in a museum curated entirely by you. Every corner, every object, every moment, a reminder of what they had and what they lost. And the cruelest part, the ghost isn't angry, it doesn't scream, it doesn't rage, it simply exists, quietly, endlessly, reminding them that they once held something irreplaceable and let it slip away. This is the haunting they can never escape, not because you're there, but because you're gone. And it's only then they realize absence is permanent, but the ghost of what was lasts forever. The panic always sets in, once the silence becomes too heavy. At first, they tell themselves they're fine. They convince themselves they're moving on, stronger without you, finally free. But then the emptiness grows unbearable. So they start searching, new faces, new conversations, endless swipes on dating apps. Each interaction feels like an attempt to replace what they lost, like fumbling with a broken key, trying again and again to unlock a door that no longer opens. For a moment, it feels hopeful. Someone laughs at their joke. Someone shows interest. Someone texts them back. And in that instant, they think maybe this is it. Maybe they've found another you. But then reality crashes in. Because the laugh isn't yours. The conversation doesn't flow the same way. The connection doesn't cut as deep. Every smile, every glance, every shared moment feels hollow. A cheap imitation of something real they once had, but carelessly destroyed. And so the comparisons begin. They notice how no one else remembers the little details the way you did. No one checks in about their bad day the way you used to. No one makes them feel seen in the way you effortlessly could. And with every failed attempt, your irreplaceability grows sharper, more undeniable. They tell themselves they're just being picky. They blame timing, chemistry, circumstances. But deep down, they know the truth. They're not searching for someone new. They're searching for you, in different packaging, in different bodies, in different voices. And it never works, because you weren't interchangeable. You weren't a type. You were a one-time alignment of love, patience, and connection that cannot be replicated. The cruel cycle continues. They try again, hope again, compare again, and each disappointment only carves the truth deeper into their chest. You are not coming back, and no one else will ever replace you. This is the desperate price avoidants pay, the endless substitutions, the failed replicas, the exhausting search for something that no longer exists. Every failed attempt leaves them more haunted, more empty, more aware that what they lost wasn't just a partner, it was the partner. And now, every door they open leads them back to the same place, the memory of you, and the lock they can no longer open. Regret doesn't arrive like a thunderstorm. It doesn't crash down all at once. It seeps in slowly, drop by drop, until the weight becomes unbearable. At first they try to deny it. They tell themselves you were too demanding, too emotional, too much. They try to paint you as the reason for the ending, but the truth refuses to stay buried, because every memory becomes a piece of evidence. The time you stayed patient when they pulled away, the night you reached for them, and they turned cold, the day you asked for reassurance, and they gave you silence. Each moment resurfaces like a witness in the courtroom of their own mind. And the verdict is always the same: guilty. It's as if they're standing trial in their own life. The prosecutor is their memory. The witnesses are the moments they ignored. And the judge is the voice inside whispering, "This is your fault. You did this." There's no escape from this courtroom. No lawyer to defend them. No excuse strong enough to erase the truth. They are both the accused and the accuser, reliving the same trial every single day. And the sentence, living with the knowledge that the one person who loved them fully, who saw past their walls, who offered unconditional patience, is gone because of their own choices. The realization cuts deeper than any external punishment could, because this isn't about losing you to someone else. This isn't about bad timing or fate. This is about their fear, their avoidance, their refusal to step into love when it was freely given. The weight grows heavier with each passing day. Every smile they denied, every embrace they rejected, every "I love you" they failed to return. It all comes crashing back, not as memories of love, but as evidence of destruction. And now, they can't trust themselves anymore. If they ruined this, the most genuine connection they ever had, what else will they ruin? This is the crushing realization. Not just that they lost you, but that they built their own prison, brick by brick, choice by choice. And now, they're trapped inside it, serving a life sentence with no possibility of release. Every regret has a timeline. At first, they cling to hope. They tell themselves, maybe one day, maybe if I reach out, maybe if I explain. That thin thread of possibility keeps them breathing. But then comes the most devastating truth. The door they once took for granted is no longer a door at all. It doesn't just stay closed. It transforms into a wall, and walls don't open. This is the painful price avoidants never calculate. They think they'll always have time, that you'll always be there, waiting patiently in the background, ready to forgive, ready to love again. But permanence doesn't negotiate. When you're gone, you're gone. That realization hits harder than any silence, harder than any absence, because it's not about missing you for a week or a month, or even a year. It's about understanding that their entire story from this point forward is written without you in it, and no matter what they do, no matter how much they regret, they can never edit you back in. Yet here's the cruel irony. While you're gone, you're not gone. Your ghost still lingers in their life. Not the angry, screaming kind of ghost, but the quiet, unshakable kind. The one that shows up in the taste of morning coffee, in the lyrics of old songs, in the silence of midnight, when they wish they could hear your voice again. So they live in a paradox. They lost you forever, and yet they can never escape you. That is the final punishment. Not just losing you, but knowing the love they rejected has branded itself into their memory, permanent and unmovable. The door will never open again, and the wall they face now, they built it themselves. And maybe that's why people watching this need to hear it. Don't underestimate your absence. Don't undervalue your worth, because when you walk away, the void you leave behind doesn't just sting, it reshapes their entire world. This is the painful price avoidants pay when they lose you, and the story doesn't end for them. It haunts them. If this hit home, share your thoughts below. Someone needs to hear your perspective. And if you felt the weight of this truth, don't just keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe. Because we're only just beginning to uncover the unspoken realities of love and loss.